Hello and welcome. It is Thursday, the 26th of September 2019. Today we're going over the altcoins to see how close we are to altcoin season. And at the end, I'm going to do a live demonstration of our crypto trading alert signals. Let's jump in and talk about what we're going to cover in this episode. We're going to go over the big 7 cryptocurrencies that trade on BitMEX. We're going to look at the relative strength index, the on-balance volume, the MACD, and the Ichimoku for each of them, and give a general idea of what might be coming next according to our trading plan. We definitely honor new subscribers. We got EXT90 as our latest new subscriber, and T Torchin gave a $2 tip yesterday. Let's jump into the live stream now. Where am I? Before I do, here is a quick look at the disclaimer. It's not trading advice, just market observation. And one last thing before we jump in, I want to say a big thank you to the people who are making this live stream possible. Thank you, Philip, for joining as a patron sponsor just today. Gunbot University Wally. If you guys want to learn anything about bots, go to Gunbot University and Wally will teach you. I also want to thank Chris, Crypto Street, Julian, Carl, Patrick, Philip, Chris, and Usman for your continued sponsorship. Thank you very much. A little late with the crowd cheering, but better late than never. Let's jump in now. So that you can make the most of this live stream, be sure to go over to the website IntroToCryptos.ca and sign up for the free webinar of the complete trading system that I talk about on this stream and the other stream all the time. Now we're going to jump in and take a look at what's actually happening with these prices. Of course, I got to jump over to Bitcoin first of all, which I always have in the background here, but Bitcoin has been falling, and pretty much as we were predicting by looking at all of the indicators. Here I was a bull, here I was a bull, here I was trying to be bullish, and then I pretty much gave up. And the evidence was too strong to be bullish. And I went bearish and made a great short trade here, closed that trade. It was a 10 times leverage short trade. So it was phenomenal for my own personal trading to come up to this trading platform, to this formation, and actually do it correctly and make some great profit off that. Very good stuff. But the purpose of this stream is to go over these big 7 cryptocurrencies that trade on BitMEX so that we can decide if we can get some signals out of this. Let me check the chat box here again, because I am not getting it to work. What is the deal? Why do I have trouble? Does anybody have trouble with this also? Sometimes I refresh the cache of the current page and it comes up. Other times it doesn't. That's a real pain in the ass. So let's jump through things here and I'll watch the chat. All right. If you're alive here and you're sitting there watching, let me know where in the world you're from. And we'll dig into this chart here now. Let's go into the 4-hour time frame. I guess we have to start with a longer term time frame and zoom this down. In the 12-hour view, we can see where we are in relation to the past. A couple days ago, I was doing a projection of if prices are coming up to these 50% levels. This is sort of an idea of where prices may go from the short term up into these ranges. And we'll be watching for consolidations and then another bottom formation for the longer term uptrend. If prices pass above these levels, then we have a chance to look for that. But for today, I don't think we are going to see very much for signals. What I'm looking for now on this time frame is some divergences in the relative strength index. Terrible straight line. Divergence in the relative strength index to be stronger as we're setting up these bottoms. And then, of course, we're looking for the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation to set up and break higher on these time frames. Right now, it's not. And maybe we could find something if we zoom in on this. Maybe we're looking for some evidence of going long here. It's fantastic that it's held its own as Bitcoin crashed, but it's curious that it didn't actually blast up at the same time. So let's zoom in on this on the different time frame. We're on the 12-hour. Let's zoom into the 4-hour time frame and take a look at this. Let me zoom this back a little bit. So on this time frame, we should be seeing some similarities for all of these coins. We did the other day when we saw this uptrend of the RSI break, all of the top formations broke at the same time. Now I want to quickly go through all of these main coins and see if we're seeing a similar setup in this RSI. So if I switch now to the next chart, I am seeing the similar setup in the RSI, but it's down to much more oversold territories. And this gets disqualified actually because it's down below historical lows. This is a whole new number one point. So it's a whole different game there. If I'm looking at EOS, I'm also seeing a better setup with the RSI. Not really enough yet to call this a buy signal. It seems that it needs more support, and we'll see what the other indicators are telling us. Ethereum, I'm seeing much the same, exactly the same pattern actually, except that Ethereum is much higher than the support and resistance levels from back in August. And that is a key difference between Ethereum and some of the other coins. Hey Bez, good to have you along, watching from London. Sup? Any thoughts about small cap coins such as FTM? I will go over those, Adrian. At the end of the episode, I'll go through these coins and then I'll take any requests at all. And at the end, I have an alert coin that you may not be watching, and I think it's going to be taking off. It absolutely blasted off 300% profit after the last time Bitcoin did a drop like this. And I'm super keen to do the alert for that and to do that real time live so you see how the alert system works. Litecoin giving us the same setup here, but not the same change as in Ethereum, where Ethereum came up above this support and resistance from the past. Litecoin hasn't yet. And so we're still looking for divergences here. Got to see this 1, 2, 3 formation set up and build, and maybe the MACD will give us some indicators on that. So if I go into TRX, I like this better actually because of the RSI being higher. I like where it is in support and resistance levels, but I don't like it enough to really give it full steam yet. RBBot, if you guys haven't heard of that, it's a pretty good one. Let's go into Ripple. So Ripple also is above these support and resistance levels from August, similar to Ethereum. So Ethereum and Ripple actually stand out pretty cool. And I did go long on Ripple here, so I'm holding a long position on that. And I could have kept my Bitcoin short position. It would have been fantastic. But I flipped out and went into a long on Ripple there. Greetings from Mexico, amigo. London buddy, I hope you're doing great. Joseph, hey, it's been a few episodes. Good to have you along. Tom Green, ICX, definitely. I'll definitely want to look at ICX too. And so this is actually one of the more bullish looking setups for all of the coins we have right now. And I'm keen to see what the next indicators are going to tell us as we sweep through them. So let's go to ADA and looking at the volume. Yesterday, you can still see I have this circled, that as we were coming to these levels and we were seeing volume come into these coins, that was what I was really keen to see. From day to day, from coin to coin, this was not good and still not standing up good. So no juice on Bitcoin Cash. EOS, kind of bad and not so good. So not so much juice on this too. I want it to stabilize a bit more, and I may even wait for it to break way above these levels and see how things go. Ethereum, a little bit different, where we had some juice here. When it pulled back, there was some fight in the market. It just said like, no. And even as it did another dip back, the market just said, nope, not going there. We'll see how that turns out now when we get into the next indicators. That's where it really gets to be showing us. Litecoin, I was more happy with yesterday that it was getting some buys after this dump, but now I'm not so happy. That's not as good, and it really doesn't stand out as good a chart either so far as we're seeing, where Ethereum and Ripple are standing out better. this is standing out best of the ones we've looked at so far for volume kicking in after that dump. So that we have these higher lows all the way along, and it's building this triangle formation. When it breaks above these levels, it's going to be pretty important. Well, it could keep going sideways for months actually, but when it breaks above these levels and it's actually changed direction, that's going to be the cool thing. And so I'm pretty keen about Ripple here. Let me click on, it was good volume here, good volume after the dump. It's eased off a little bit here just as we're coming up to these levels. So if the MACD is giving us easing off, then that's going to cool my jets on how powerful I think this move is. Let's dig into the next indicator, ADA. Now, a few days ago, we were watching this top formation shape up, and I was thinking, oh, this is going to be it. It's going up from here. It's going up from here. But the 4-hour MACD indicator wasn't giving us lift. And we were watching for the 1 hour to cross positive and maybe drag the 4-hour positive, and it didn't happen. So this is really cool to see these things in combination with the top formation as we're setting these up. And it's telling us in advance, this 4-hour cross was telling us across all of the coins in advance. And so now I'm watching that it's crossed to the positive, and we have the potential for these 1, 2, 3s to set up out of these shapes. It's really awesome. So for it to be breaking above these levels as we're continuing up is going to be really awesome. Let's go back to the 12-hour time frame first though, because the 12-hour time frame is going to give us that longer term momentum change as it breaks out of this 1, 2, 3 and stages above this. Then we're going to be rocking. But I want to see the 12-hour cross to the positive as we're breaking above these levels before I'm really confident in it. Now let's zoom in. There's the 4-hour again. Here's the 1 hour. Okay, this takes away a bit of the confidence. It's okay for the 1 hour to zigzag and zigzag as we are staging. That's normal, but it's got to cross back positive again. Here we are. We're looking for the 1 hour to cross positive again to give us that verification. Way too early in the trade. We're sitting in whale food zone when we're trading in the 15-minute time frame or the 1 hour bars. We are really on the edge. You know, I used to build websites for fishing lodges, and I learned a lot more about fishing than I ever knew from beforehand. And the big predators stay just outside of a specific range, waiting for fish to come just into their strike range so that they can quickly eat. And I feel the same thing about trading in the 15-minute time frames or the 1 hour time frames even. This is such a small range of zone that the whales, the manipulators, can get you. So it's important to have a smaller position and a longer term perspective on these things. Let's go on to BC Bitcoin Cash and see what's going on in the 4-hour cloud. I mean the MACD. So it's crossing positive as well. How about the 1 hour? It crossed positive, but it's losing a bit of steam. As it maybe crosses positive again, that'll pick it up. But overall, I'm going to step back to the 12-hour time frame and wait for this to do something. So it's going to take a little bit of time. We can see how this crossed and then crossed positive. And I like this. If we can get a divergence like this, where we had a positive divergence on the downtrend, that's pretty good. But we also want to filter out this crap. We don't want to get into a market because we have this divergence and we could be going up. Now we're going sideways. And how long has this been? 2 full months of bullshit. And then it goes down afterwards. So we don't want to get into this kind of downtrending market that goes sideways. We really want to wait for the 1, 2, 3 and that to cross above and show us that it's changing directions. So that's a great example of why to be patient in the market, why that all of these different filters I've put together have been required and learned over time usually through punishment. So here is a crossover of the 4-hour time frame as we made the 1, 2, 3 top formation on this time frame. Beautiful in hindsight. And we were talking about it, but of course you can never be sure. You just have to be prepared for either side. Let's zoom in now. Wow, are we looking at the same chart? Yeah, it looks terrible. Actually, it looks very much like Bitcoin Cash in the cross, and maybe the cross positive here. It just didn't go down to brand new lows like Bitcoin Cash did. So it held itself a little bit. And when it's starting to stage above these levels, it's going to give us some really nice structure to make some decisions on. But right now, again, not so much. I'm not liking it. Let's go on to Ethereum and see what we're going on here. Also, kind of not liking Ethereum in that it's making this pattern. But so long as it crosses positive, we're okay. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. It is crossing positive. On the 12-hour time frame, not yet. So the 12-hour would still give us lots of sideways maybe before it's actually crossing above these levels. Hey, Joseph, good to have you. Greetings from Switzerland. Learned from you already a bit. That's awesome. I am fantastically happy to have this opportunity to be talking to people in Switzerland, in Mexico, in London. And if there's somebody else on this stream that hasn't let me know where in the world you're from, let me know. This just is amazing. I can take the stuff that I learned in 1995, and now I'm talking about it here, how many years later? On a live stream to people around the world. Small audience, it's growing, I love it. But it's fantastic to share this information, and hopefully it really helps stop some of you get chewed up as whale food. I've been chewed up too many times, and I'm doing this live stream sort of as a journal to talk to my future self so that I'm constantly practicing. You know, they call a doctor's clinic a practice, because the doctor is always practicing. Even though they've graduated, they're always practicing and learning and learning and learning. It's the same thing with trading. We're always practicing. So here I am looking at these crossovers and the indicators and the chart patterns and getting myself prepared. You know, it's sort of like watching a 747 come in for a landing. You can see this coming for a long ways in advance. The hardest thing is to be greedy and fearful at the right time. For my own part, I get to be greedy at the wrong time, and then it turns into a costly endeavor. So here we are with TRX cross to the positive on the 4-hour time frame. If I go into the 1-hour time frame, this is also losing steam. Like these feel like they're losing steam, and that they're going to retest these 1, 2, 3s a little bit stronger yet. I don't see that we're getting into some good setups yet. And you know, one thing I haven't done is to look at the 12-hour time frame. We have the exponential moving average cross to the positive, but it crossed to the negative. That is a get out signal. So there's no trade here to the long side because of that crossover right there. And if I go into the 4-hour time frame, it's also crossed negative. So I can't go into a long position when I have those exponential moving averages crossed negative, and I have this kind of weak setup going on here. It's lame. Even on the 1-hour time frame, it's crossed negative and it hasn't crossed positive. So all of this stuff is lame and just waiting, except for Ripple. Look at this, 3 higher lows. I got to see the longer time frames of this. Cross to the positive. This was the first one to cross to the positive in the 4-hour time frame. And now it's the first to cross to the positive in the 12-hour time frame. Love it. It's giving us this parallel tracks. I love when we get the parallel tracks. We're going somewhere when we're in parallel tracks in this. On the 1-hour time frame, it is eased back a little bit. Got to watch for this to continue to cross positive to support this breakout. And if it's going to break out, this is going to cross to the positive, and that's just going to go. There's not going to be very much warning to it. But at the same time, I want to see this negative divergence here, and I have to go back now. Negative divergence in the RSI. So it cools my jets a little bit on being so happy about Ripple. This negative divergence eases me off a little bit. When I go back to Ripple in the MACD indicator, this eases me off a little bit on the 1-hour. 12-hour time frame, we do see a little bit of negative, but it's crossed to the positive. So real cautious on that. If we're taking a long on that, it'll have to be a small one that we can add on to later. There'll be time. If it's right, there'll be time to do it. APPC, unusual buying activity. Let's go into the last indicator for these set, and we're going into ADA on the 4-hour time frame. Remember, the new lesson for me was the crossover here of the 4-hour time frame was as reliable as the MACD crossing over at this time too. So the 4-hour MACD crossed over, the Ichimoku Cloud on the 4-hour time frame with just regular default settings, not using the crypto settings. I find that this actually, I like it better. And so that was a negative sell signal, and we don't have the buy signal yet. Let's go on to Bitcoin Cash and verify. Sure enough, there's that sell signal and no buy signal yet, just floating along here. And if we go into EOS, I'm expecting the same thing. No buy signal on this 4-hour time frame. I just want to compare these all on this time frame. Here's almost a buy signal on Ethereum, and it's inside the cloud and not bounced down through it. So that is a difference from the other coins. That's the kind of thing we're looking for. Those differences. Litecoin, you got a long ways to go yet. There's a pretty strong sell signal. So Litecoin, we just got to sit back. Tron, I was watching for a breakout here, but we can see that it hasn't quite done the crossover. So when that crosses over and starts to come up, that could be pretty good, but not yet. And Ripple, okay, Ripple, you have stepped out from the crowd, and Ethereum is right next behind you. So this is crossed positive and jumped up above the cloud ahead of the other coins. So let's keep an eye on this and see what it is ending up doing. As I zoom into a closer time frame, it's all looking good. I like, except that the cloud is thick. The thicker the cloud, the more sideways the action is. The more thin the cloud, the more direct we're going. So that the cloud is thick is probably going to fight along here more. Too bad. You should start the stream a couple hours before the countdown, before it actually starts. I was thinking to do something like that, but I'm actually, well, I'll have to try it out. And put up some multi-screen so that we can be watching what the markets are doing. Something like this, but on the 1-minute time frame. So I wanted to bring this up so that we could look at this top formation and these bottom formations in all of these markets. You know, as Bitcoin has been going up here, everything really got hammered, and now Bitcoin is going down and they're not really springing up yet. So let's see if this is going to create a trend for us that's changing directions, or if the entire crypto sphere is going to be losing some market cap over time. So one thing that, before we get to the final and checking out your charts, Bitcoin dominance really has to come down more before our true alt season kicks in. So as we've seen by going through these big 7 markets, they're not quite ready yet. And if I was to do an invert of this chart, we can see that they pretty much look like this, but upside down, right? They pretty much look where Ripple and Ethereum have broken above. Give me a drawing tool. Ripple and Ethereum have broken above this support and resistance, but most of the others are still hanging out just below it in their general 1, 2, 3 bottoms that they're setting up. So when Bitcoin dominance is breaking down below these levels, we have lots of warning. We have warning now that the alt season is going to really take off. This is our detail. And it's easy to jump in and out, in and out, in and out, unless you have a real trading plan that you actually believe. And people say, well, you're really disciplined to trade that plan. And I don't like that word discipline, the way it's used most of the time. It's like teeth gritting willpower against the force of things to keep consistent with your trading plan. But discipline means that you're a disciple of a belief system. And so when you really believe your trading system, you do it. You don't do against your trading system. That would be, you're under duress. Something is forcing you. So it's important to practice your trading system and study it until you really understand it. And even then, it takes up an enormous amount of time to manage it. So I'd like you to go, if you haven't already, get the free webinar and learn this complete trading system that I'm teaching here. It gives you the entries, the exits, the position sizes, the risk control rules, a little bit more detail about the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. It is great training, and I give it away for free so that you are up to speed on what we're talking about here, so that when you come to our Discord chat, you have educated questions. You're not just learning things, but you actually have the plan and you're asking about it. You're not just into philosophy. Now you're in the river. You're actually doing the trades. You're experiencing it. And I want to have your feedback and your questions on that. It always helps me. Now I'll do a few coin requests, but before I do, I want to see if I can do a live update of our trading alerts that is part of our website. You can learn more about our crypto signals here, or you can sign up for the new course that'll be starting right away. Limited membership in that so that I'm working with each person that is signed up. Now what I want to do is demonstrate the signals. And I was picking a market earlier that I thought was going to be taking off. So let me go into the 3-month view. Let me go to the 1-year view and pull this back. And I'll get rid of the indicators. We can look at those in a second. But first of all, let's just do the technical analysis and some idea of what happened when Bitcoin dropped. This took off. And I have no idea why. But it's not an accident. Nothing this big and continuous and ongoing is an accident. There was something really big that changed this coin. And now that it's making this kind of formation, you recognize it. I hope you're actually seeing it and you're saying it out loud. 1, 2, 3, bottom formation. Now, if I can go into the chart pattern, this has even more support in that we have these 3 higher lows while we have pretty much steady lows. That is really nice. Let's go to the MACD indicator, jump over to Poloniex, Factum, and I am expecting and not disappointed to see that very same setup where we've got the higher lows all the way along and it's starting to flare positive. This is unlike the other coins that we've been looking at. Oh, I bet you we could go into the Ichimoku just for the heck of it and go back to the 3-month view. Sure enough. So in the 3-month view, this already gave us our buy signal with this crossover earlier, right out of like a springboard trading pattern, I would call this. So it's the 1, 2, 3, and at 3 point we have a 1, 2, 3, and then this is crossed over. So it's given us early warning of this breakout in this buy signal. And so what I want to do right now is to create an alert for this and follow through the process that I do for creating these alerts. They're all manually created by following this trading plan. And so they can save you loads of time by by understanding the plan, and then by getting the alerts, you are way ahead of the game. You're not just blindly following what people are telling you to do, but you're actually understanding it and making it into your own habits. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a target up to the 50% level. And I'm going to set the stop loss just under technical support and resistance levels. And now I'm going to take this screenshot and I'm going to put it into the spreadsheet, which I must find now. So I put the screenshot in. This is a simple trading plan, trading signal, which means that it's on the 12-hour time frame. Now I need some data. We got 000 43 155, 43 155 as our projected entry level if it breaks up above those levels. And in the course we talk about different ways to enter so that you're not FOMOing in with a market order, but you're doing it intentionally and practiced because we're planning it way ahead of time. There's no need to FOMO on this stuff. 000 98 98. And then our stop loss level would be at 35-ish. And I'm looking back to support and resistance in the past. And we also have special training on how to set your stop loss and how to do risk control properly at the beginning of the trade. So this is really critical stuff. 1, 2, 3, 36, 5, 4, 1, generally. So this will give us, if we get in here and we put our emergency stop loss back here, it touches us in and then comes back. If we don't do anything in the meantime, which would be an error, that is a trading error. If you let this touch you in and then you leave the market to prove you wrong, you've made an error in your trading. We talk more about that in the course. Now that we have this in place, that would give us a 15.3% loss if we touched in there and we get kicked out there, and a potential for a 128% gain if it only goes up to the 50% level. We also talk about when to take profits and how we're setting up to take profits in a ranging market and in a trending market. So you need to understand both of those to play this out through. So let me go and set this up to an alert now. When that happens, we should see this alert turn up here. So now I have manually created that alert, and it should automatically be sent over to us. And it has failed in the sending the signal. It says no new signal found. So let me change this. Maybe I didn't have it on first. Let's try that alert one more time. And there we are. So here is our alert. As I've published it, you can see that the entry value, it's still kind of ugly. There's the value right now. Here's the date. Here's the target entry price. It's a simple trading plan, and the profit target has been cut off. I will have to check and see why that is. And then you get the screenshot as well, so that you can see exactly where our entry level is, where our profit target level is, and a visual cue of the trade itself. So these are automatically posted onto our Discord and over onto our private Telegram chat, so that whichever one you are interested in, whichever one you use, you can go and get that. And now we've got a couple coin requests to do. So let me go and check those out. Where'd the chat go? Ba-dum-bum. Hi from Bulgaria. Awesome. I love that area of the world. I've always wanted to tour Bulgaria for the beer, actually. So I read somewhere Ripple is possibly printing XRP and bribing exchanges stuff. No, yeah, they're not printing XRP. They have billions of them in store. They don't have to print anymore. In fact, they burn them every time you do a transaction. So there's less and less supply as time goes on. Both Hike and Ashi on the one Bitcoin dominance alts market cap matches to the upside. Yeah. Yeah, it's Bitcoin dominance will show us this is the measure of Bitcoin crushing the alts. This is the measure of it right here. So when the alts are getting crushed, this is going up. When the alts are rising in value against Bitcoin, this is going down. And those are two things that I didn't learn soon enough, but I made a ton of money off of it, even though I didn't realize it was this moment here. I was catching all of the bottom formations on all of the alts. And, you know, waving my hand all over the place, telling people, hey, it's crazy, look at this. And I made like, I don't know, $20,000 by this time. And then a lot of people started to pay attention. And then everybody's getting involved in it, but it's a little bit kind of late. And then everybody's crushed, you know, like, so the timing of it right now, before we come down, is the most important thing. To get established and to build out your positions now, when they do the turn, is going to be the best thing. Otherwise, we could go sideways for a long time, and that is not the best thing. So let's go over a couple of those requests that we had back earlier. FTM, I don't even know this coin. FTM. Really? Binance. FTM BTC. Okay, this is why I don't know it. And there's not much I can do for technical analysis on this coin, except that it's not a buy signal. And it can't be a buy signal for this plan that we are learning here, because it's got a whole brand new number 1 point here. We had a 1, 2, 3, and it broke out. And if you got your stop loss above your entry there, you're good. If you FOMO'd in afterwards, then you're it's sad. You got to start off with a very small position so that when it is wrong, that you can sell out without much pain. Start with a small position, add on to it when you're correct. Wait, when you got that cushion underneath you, then you can jump out the second story window. But throw down a mattress first. Otherwise, this is going to happen over and over again. The 1, 2, 3 bottom formation that fails is the pissing off the roof pattern. And there's more roof to go below on this one. So can't touch it. Just got to leave it. Let's go to ICX. ICX versus Bitcoin. Zoom back out. The longer term time frame, oh, it's so wonderful. All of these coins really are just amazing bottom formations. Sure hope we get those big bull markets again. So this is giving us a potential 1, 2, 3 formation, and I would call this a neutral coin. So in our bull market watch, in the Patreon bull market watch, all of the coins are graded yellow, green, orange, red, and blue is to get out of the trade. So gray is neutral, yellow and green mean alert and hold status, orange and red means failing and near failing, going down. So I would say that the last coin we looked at would be in a fail status, that FTM, because it's going down to brand new lows. So there's nothing we can do with it. There's no trade there because we're only looking to buy low, sell high with this. And when we do the BitMEX trading, then we are looking to short and long. So now when I look at this and I'm color coding it in my mind, everything between here and here is gray colored. Everything between here and here is yellow colored. And then only above this level does it turn into green color. And then I'm looking for the 50% level from the history for a trade signal. And so there's nothing to do all the way through this. I could color code them, but it's okay. There's nothing to do. And even here, it's like, oh, get ready. Maybe it's time to, but it still could be sideways. Who knows? Even when it breaks above here, it's only time for a very small position here. We're only just starting to unfold our portfolio. We will build it bigger afterwards, but stay small at the beginning. Be fearful at the beginning of a trade. Don't be greedy at the beginning of a trade. This has lost me the most money. No. Sticking to my opinion instead of getting out when the exponential moving average crossed over, that's cost me the most amount of money. But every time the 1, 2, 3 formations break out and I put on too big of a position, I'm greedy at the beginning of the trade, then my losses are bigger when it proves to be a fake out breakout and keeps going down. So we've seen those enough times. We've had enough examples of them now that I hope that my warning and my advice here sticks with you. It slows you down. There's no need to FOMO in on this stuff. And I'm talking to my own personal self. I really like what TRX is doing, but I just got something that makes sense. Justin Sun's internet access makes it really weak. I'm not sure. TRX, I like what TRX is doing. I like the chart pattern in TRX. That's beautiful. And I'm not up enough on the project itself. Hello from Bulgaria. And check out EGT. Oh, yeah, you are welcome. Always have time for a good beer. Yes, indeed. Bulgaria's got some great beers. Let's go take a look at EGT. And if you guys haven't subscribed already, that is your fee for this free training here today. Click on the subscribe button and make me happy dance. Wow. Wow, I had no idea that this we had a coin that had pumped like this from, wow, 20 Satoshi to 700 and then all the way back down. I'm not touching it. But I didn't see this example before. I have no idea what is up on this coin. It's phenomenal. But I couldn't touch it now. The RSI was agreeing all the way along here. it seems like a manipulated coin, but all the way through June, all the way through July, all the way through August, and then kept this top formation for this long. It's not your normal pump and dump style, but I wouldn't touch it with anything more than just a couple like pocket chains, just like a gamble to put a few bucks into it. And if it does come up, I'd have my stop loss orders already set way up here, because everybody who bought in here now is going to be ready to dump on you. They're all sad that they bought in way too late and that they're holding the bag on it. So as soon as it comes up halfway, they're going to be dumping on it. Halfway, they're going to be dumping. It's going to take quite a while now for this to rebuild steam. And I'm grateful you brought this up. I can't wait to see what it does in the long-term future, because this is a new one to me. Actually, I'm going to star this. AGT on KuCoin. KCS, actually, I'm surprised it hasn't taken off more. I thought this pattern was really shaping up to be a takeoff right from here. Not yet. All right, we've got a question over on our Discord chat too. Good Goy says, thanks. Why do you think we are not seeing more of an increase in shorts and then decrease in longs? If anything, the shorts appear to be going down. So the shorts have been taking profits from this move. The number of shorts are going down because they're taking profits as it's come down. The number of longs hasn't decreased because they are not been squeezed far enough. And the only place I can bring this up is if I go BTC USD longs. BTC USD shorts. If I spell it right, push the right button. Yeah, so shorts have come down considerably since we've been dropping, and longs have come down, but not considerably. So this could be because we have some longs getting fried and other people taking on longs, but overall, people are closing their shorts and taking profits on that right now, which is pretty cool to see. Let's follow this over the next few days too to see how this unfolds, because I was expecting a deeper pullback in Bitcoin yet. But this is pretty good. Let's go to the Fibonacci retracement tool. From the top to the bottom, we did just come back to the 50% level. It is important support and resistance all the way back along here. We will be watching in our live stream to see if this is consolidating here and building some structure. And it'll take a little while for it to build some structure. That's going to give us a turnaround though. So I'm still bearish. All of the moving averages are crossed to the negative. It's all still very negative from this point here. And of course it could bounce up. You never know where that V bottom is going to actually end up being. So we will check this out tomorrow morning on the 5 a.m. live stream. We'll go into detail on Bitcoin again. KCX is still bag holding. Yeah, I've got some KCX that I'm bag holding as well, but just a little bit so that it's okay. It's sort of like an insurance policy. If it does take off, I'm insured that I'll make some profit. So there we go. The shorts coming down and the longs coming down as this pressure is coming into the market. That's cool. I'm glad you brought that up. Good goy. And Trader Virtuto got an idea of something going very much higher coming in for Bitcoin in the long term. And I hope so. All right, I'm not as fluent with this chart. I hope so. And I'm not expecting it though. I'm really keen to go back into this tomorrow morning and review where this RSI is spending the week, where it's ending up. Because we haven't bounced from a low Only one time did we bounce off this level, that we've come down and bounced up off of this kind of level. Okay, this time too. So we'll have to dig back and see what went on in the charts during that time. Oh, look at that. This was the time. This was September 24th, 2015, where I bought Bitcoin for cash at $250, and everybody that I knew was all freaked out. $250 for a pretend coin that's not even real. And I thought I was a complete genius when I sold out at $750. I thought I was smartest man out there. Boom. Not so much. Link. Okay, let's go take a look at Link. And then I'll be wrapping it up. So if you have another coin you'd like me to take a look at, put it in here now and we'll go and dig into it. Link on Binance. Link did some amazing stuff before. And we really nailed it in December 15th, I think it was. Must have been right in here, maybe right in here, where we found this trend continuation pattern building up and got a nice long into it. And I sold out some nice profit up here, but I'm still bag holding some from the original position. Now let's zoom in and see what's going on in this near term, because it's, for me, it looks like, oh, just from this, that it's got some pullback to do to build more structure before it's actually going to break past these levels. It, you know, the market gives it to you and takes it away, gives it to you and takes it away, gives it to you and takes it away. So that it's come up a little bit, I think we should see it be pulling back. So let's zoom in on this and see what it's telling us. As we go into the 12-hour time frame, the RSI is okay. It still could go higher. It's easing off a little bit. We've got an uptrend line, but on the good side, we've got the 12-hour exponential moving average crossing over. It's not as clean as a 1, 2, 3 formation I would like to see. That's too bad, because then it makes it harder for your stops. It gives you a much wider range for your stop losses. So if it had come down and given us a more beautiful 1, 2, 3, then we could be real close with our stop loss and our entry point. But that it's gone up so much now, there's like, you have to have your stop loss quite a ways back to fit with technical levels. So I think this is coming back from where it is from here. That you've got this going on with the RSI. Every time the RSI has made this wicked uptrend and then broken it, it's when prices are topping out and coming down. So even though that's crossed to the positive, it's not exciting me yet. Let's zoom in more. The 4-hour exponential moving average is positive, and this is hanging on sideways as prices are going up. So we do have a negative divergence building up as that's happening. So even like, just my gut feeling is that I want it to come back and retest these levels. And if it did, it would give us a nicer area with a closer stop loss to be considering our entry. And if it consolidates from here and starts to go up, it could still be a buy signal. Anything is a buy signal. You flip a coin, it could be a buy signal. The trick is, when it's not so nice of an entry, is that you're even smaller with your entry to start off with. Get your stop above it, wait till you're proven positive, and then you can lay on the juice. So you want to be fearful at the start of a trade. You don't want to be greedy at the start of a trade. Now, the 1-hour time frame, again, I'm shopping for a top formation. So I'm looking for the 1, 2, 3 top formation, down lower highs all the way along. The RSI is looking weaker here. So I'm shopping for a top formation in this. Let's go to the MACD indicator for Link on Binance. Link 3-month view. So we've got the crossover to the positive in the exponential moving average. This is looking pretty good. It's looking good in that it's on its way up, but it's up pretty high compared to where it's been in the past week. So I'm still trying to shop for a top formation. I see the histogram is getting weaker. If it continues weaker, that gives us more of the sell signal on a top formation out of this level. So let's go into the 4-hour time frame. Whoops. 4-hour time frame, crossing over negative both times while we have higher highs, and this is even more selling more selling pressure in the evidence here. As we're coming through this top formation and we have all these lower highs, I'm betting this is going down from here. Even though I have some, I'm not selling out of it. It's a longer term investment and it's part of my profits now, so it doesn't really matter. So down from here. And I don't know, of course, it could take off. If it does take off and I am wrong, and I try to assume that I am wrong when I put on any trade so that I get out of it quicker and I don't put on such a big trade. If I'm wrong, I'm not going to put on a big trade. So if I assume I'm wrong, it helps me stay to a smaller trade to begin with so that I'm not greedy when I'm starting off a trade. Now, if this crosses positive and gives us some juice on the 1 hour time frame and crosses positive and goes higher than this in the 4 hour time frame, it could. Then we're okay. Right? If it starts to cross and go up, it can go quite a bit higher. So I don't want to rule that out because we've got the 12 hour that is still positive. Let me clear this off. The 12 hour is still positive, and if we go out further to the 1 day, this is still positive too. So overall, it's bullish. Maybe I should be easier. Weekly, it's negative, except that the histogram is starting to come short. So in the short term, I think a little bit of a pullback would not be surprising. But if this starts to cross positive, that kicks me out and I'm wrong, and it'll break above these levels. And then it's a trend continuation formation that I would have to revisit and start off small. So I'm glad you brought up Link. I'm compulsive. I got to look at Link under the Ichimoku Cloud. I guess it's not compulsion. It's just kicked my ass so many times that I respect it now. So it crossed positive quite a bit earlier. We do not yet see the cross to the negative on this 4 hour time frame. And that's what I was coming in here to look for, that specific thing. And it's not here. On the 1 hour time frame, it hasn't crossed to the negative. Well, that's the 4 hour. 1 hour time frame. Did it cross negative? Yeah, but it's not as decisive here. It could be a buy signal in an uptrend if it continues up out of this cloud as it has. I'm still betting more on the downside and a pullback to these levels. Still overall, and I could be wrong, but that's what it seems to be telling me. And if that's the case, then we're still in a much larger downtrend, and the longer term MACD didn't really support that. So when it breaks out of these levels, it's going to be really important and probably going to mean that this is going to be continuing on to brand new highs again. So if it is breaking out higher than this, watch for it to come back and touch this cloud and then really take off. Then we are in the true parabolic movement, and this may go an order of magnitude higher from 00034 to 0034. And the technology is astonishing. It's got a bottom formation and a takeoff that almost no other coins have right in here. Cool. So, Florian, good to have you along. Dad and Joe, thank you for asking about Link. I hadn't looked at it in this depth in quite a while. Now, SNM. I've looked at this one and I'm not as keen on SNM. And I have a hard time saying it, actually. Let's go into the weekly view. It's like so below the cloud. It's like crushing it. If I go into the daily view, hey, it's poked up above this cloud. And that's important on the daily view. It has made lower lows, though. So this kind of thing always gets away from me. Here comes a fire truck. This is lower lows, and a blast off like that usually gets away from me. Where's my mute button? So this kind of coin usually gets away from me when it takes off. Except that when it comes back, then I can start to pay attention, because there's two different ways to buy into the 1, 2, 3 formation. One is on the breakout. One is on the pullback and the retest of the number 2 point. So I've been burned enough with these fake out breakouts, like, oh, 1, 2, 3, grab into it and then that you're holding the bag. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it looks so great. Holding the bag. So I'm really much more skeptical, and I try not to buy on the breakout, but I wait for that to come back and retest. And if it fails, okay, I'm not even doing it. So this one would have gotten away from me on this big breakout, and I wouldn't touch it. But as it came back here, now I would reconsider it. So let's zoom in to the 12-hour, 4-hour time frame. So pretty weird Ichimoku Cloud, actually, on the 4-hour time frame. On the 1-hour time frame, it really is a wacky cloud, but it is making a much better formation. And this is really nice. Really nice. I'm glad you brought this up, because now we have a real accelerating trend going on here. Never mind the blip where some institutional buyer got, bought a whole bunch of it, and then everybody got excited. But this is really showing momentum and changing momentum. I love it. SNM. Let's go and take this to the MACD indicator. And then I'm going to have to wrap it up here. We're running up to the hour, and it's coming up to yoga time. Just can't miss yoga. All right, so this is awesome. We're seeing this on the 1-hour time frame, giving us some positive juice here. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. Good crossover. So that really confirms this tiny little 1, 2, 3 going on right here. On this acceleration takeoff, we have the cross to the positive. Really good. 12-hour time frame crossed, and it uncrossed a little bit, but it looks like it's going to cross back positive. So the moment to have purchased, you got to start even smaller if you've missed the moment, that pocket moment where it comes back and gives you the 1, 2, 3. Start off even smaller. But I don't know the technology, but on the 1-year view, it's all looking good on the MACD. Start off small. There's lots of time to add on to it after you're proven correct and you've got some cushion below. There's going to be lots of time to add on to these coins. Nice. I love the volume pattern sitting in here. The longer I look at this chart, the more I like it. So thank you, Florian. That is a big heads up for everybody here. If you're not already paying attention to this one, now you should be. Let's go on to XLM. 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 Oh, look at this. This is building up very nice in the 1-day view. This is really a beautiful divergence setting up here. A nice little 1, 2, 3. It's pulled itself back and given us notice and warning of a huge volume switch in the market. So that is key for a turnaround, and I would be pretty confident to say, that's the wrong indicator, that this is a potential for that downtrend line to finally be broken. And this downtrend line has been long and steady. And when it breaks out of a 1, 2, 3 bottom out of this, it's going to be nice. And it'll probably give us a long and steady trend on the upside. Let's go see what the Ichimoku Cloud is saying for XLM. X. So if I go to the 1-year view and see this long downtrend, this is very educational in that we have these sell signals in the downtrend. Sell signal in the downtrend. Not quite as nice, but it's still, as this failed, that's the pissing off the roof formation. That's a sell signal. Sell signal, sell signal, all the way down. Killer for those bag holding. This really took a punishment big time. And it was visible in the charts as this was setting up back here. I'll grab the Fibonacci. All the way along here, you could see that these Fibonacci levels were good extensions as it was breaking below these levels, pissing off the roof formation. Whoops. Now it is making a potential bottom formation. So let's zoom into today, go into the 12-hour time frame. It has already crossed positive and has bounced above here. So again, all of this could be accumulation zone. And it could all be sideways zone forever too. It could go sideways for a long time. And so the real turnaround doesn't confirm itself until we get up above these levels. Then we've actually changed directions. And then once we've changed directions, we can actually start to think of maybe where the parallel channels are. And then we're going to be watching for our buy signals in the uptrend. Those are our nitro moments as it comes back to those kind of areas. Exactly the same as this, only upside down. And we can see we're going down. It made a 1, 2, 3 top and broke these levels. So as it's coming up and it makes a 1, 2, 3 bottom and it breaks those levels up, it has the potential to really start staging higher. Who knows how long it'll take if it's going to get back up to these levels. But I like this pattern here. So our job is to protect ourselves from losses as we're getting into a trade, so that we're not going to be greedy at the beginning. We're going to be fearful at the beginning. And after we get a confirmation and we're profitable, we have our stop above our entry, it's not our job anymore. And then it's up to the market to decide how high it's going to go before it gives us a signal. So we'll play that out over time. But I like the chart, but I'm not as super keen on it right yet. Maybe if you were to be micro in this and you're zooming right in, you could be paying attention to a breakout from this level. It could be a bull flag here setting up. And same thing as if you were to start off with a small position, only hold it if it proves you correct, add on to it if it proves you correct, and you're good. So that wraps it up here pretty good. Went through the entire episode, and I don't know if we got another subscriber through the episode while we're live. That's a drag. Really. So I hope you guys find this helpful. I'd like to see you back, but I want to get new subscribers during the stream because it gives us this nice animation. I know we got EXT920 as a subscriber after the stream because I heard the animation afterwards, but during the stream is also pretty cool. Let me now finish her up. Let's go back to Bitcoin longs and shorts, and we'll sign off for now. I will let you guys go and I'll get myself ready for yoga. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you being here. Good luck in all of your crypto trading. We'll tune in again tomorrow at 3 o'clock and see if these big 7 cryptos are telling us something different. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you guys on the next live stream. Cheers for now.